Hey, what's up guys? Nick from Comic Culture here. Man, I just picked up this Absolute Batman Work in Progress edition, issue number 1, the Nick Dragata, 11 by 17, original artwork scanned book. Guys, this thing is incredible. So I thought I'd just pop it open, just walk through it together. I haven't looked at all of it yet. So I thought, you know, why don't I just do this live with you guys and throw it out there, see what you guys think of this, see if you picked it up, and we can just have a conversation about that. First off, amazing cover. What I really like about these original art scanned books are they have like the whiteout and stuff. Like if you get this, you can actually see the whiteout. You can see pencil marks. And then you can see some cool stuff like this right here. You see how this has like a transparency to it? My assumption, and correct me if I'm wrong, is the original scan went through. This was a digital overlay that they probably popped on top of it, changed the transparency of it for some reason. And here we go. So we're going to see a lot of that with the lettering itself as well. So as we go through the book, I'm just going to point out some cool things that I've noticed. And yeah, let me know if you guys spotted anything I didn't. I mean, the artwork speaks for itself, guys. It's absolutely incredible. It's amazing. It's awesome. And this is kind of what I'm talking about right here. You see there's a little bit of a transparency going on right here. Now, what I assume, again, is what happening is that they're taking the original artwork and they're digitally adding this lettering over here, and they have some kind of a transparency to it. I should get the other issues out and see, like the actual issues, and see what that looks like. But it's really cool to see that right there. I love the ruggedness of the panel borders. Again, when you have the original art scans, you get to see cool stuff like that. Even some of the fingerprints and some of the smudge marks and whatnot. The crudeness of like giant Sharpie markers when you're trying to fill in all this black space that, you know, after they scan it, they touch it up and things like that. It fills all that stuff in. So it's kind of cool to see all that stuff. Some other things you're going to notice, he has this green tape that he uses. This looks like painter's tape, just like a green kind. I guess it doesn't show up when they do the scanning into the computer and whatnot. So it's kind of like blue lines. It's just not going to show up. They exclude that color, whatever they might do. So it's just really cool. So I'm just kind of glancing at the pages. Yeah, all this letter work is incredible over here. We're going to see some paste ups as we go through the book as well, but just some really cool line work and storytelling going on here with our Alfred character walking around. You see like this pixelated guy. Again, you get to see that Sharpie marker. It's not all filled in, you know what I mean? But it's going to look perfect after the fact. Really cool shot right here with the bricks and everything. So there are, he added some kind of a texture to this right here. There's actually a line that cuts right here. I guess it's to create this lighting effect and to, you know, darken out these bricks a little bit more. You can see some Zipatone added to this, which is pretty awesome. He did that. A lot of whiteout around the chains and kind of redoing the floor, things like that, changing the stash a little bit. And yeah, really interesting stuff. Over here. Of course, we got like the bleed happening over here, so this stuff won't be included into the comic itself, but sometimes panel borders will go beyond the boundaries of the page. So it's kind of cool to see, you know, what they did outside of the boundaries. This is probably an example of a paste up right here. You can actually see there's another panel right here that he cut out, or he did on another piece of paper, cut it out and literally taped it on, replacing the original image here, and then he probably you know, did this lettering or continued this lettering into the panel itself. After the fact, you see that over here too. And yeah, just some pretty cool stuff happening right here. Now these speed lines and everything, sometimes they put a flat edge against it and then they do the speed lines into it or off of it, something like that, to kind of create cool effects like that. That's something I saw some artists do online. So it's pretty cool effect that they can achieve right there that way. Drawing alligators, I bet, is a pain. Lots of whiteout around here, just trying to get the anatomy right, and you know, all the bumps and all the texture and things like that. That's pretty cool. You know, shots like this too, that feathering effect, you get to really see it speak when you're looking at like an artisan edition like this. A lot of this like almost like wave effect right here, trying to figure all that stuff out. The automatopoeia, the splatter. You get to see a lot of cool things in these kinds of editions. Wow, great shot over here with this yacht, this multi-million-dollar yacht over here. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, we get to see this shiny chrome dome over here. Pretty cool stuff. The blackening out of the panels and everything. Like I said before, just trying to use that thick Sharpie, right, to kind of black everything out so that scan is perfect. And then we get some cool, you know, silhouette work happening over here too. You know, we get Batman. We get some dramatic shots right here. Of course, that like arched back with the cape flowing behind, or in front of him rather. News reporters. Something that we always see inside of these Batman books now. A lot more paste ups happening in here. The whole face, the whole head of this character was redone. Whole entire panels and whole sections are replaced over here too. Even seeing cool things like this, where the staircase over here, you get to see the lines not quite end where they should. Maybe one goes over, one doesn't, but you get to see like the precision that was done when he first was drawing this book. And you can just imagine how that's being created by hand or by ruler or something like that. Just a cool glimpse into how the comic is actually created. Again, we get some amazing, maybe speed lines or just drama, action kinds of lines right here, just popping up, some more feathering in the curtains, great splatter usage over here. Looks like he added like a big white piece of paper. I'm not entirely sure what was going on here. Maybe he added too much stuff and went back and was like, that doesn't look great. So he just kind of, got some white. It doesn't look like white at it. Literally looks like a piece of paper or something like that he just kind of replaced that section of the panel with. So that's pretty interesting. Oh, and then you get some amazing shots like this. Wow, yeah. And I mean, like, this blur effect, it looks like it's impossible to do, right? But he's doing it manually with just ink, and it's just incredible to see that. And only an edition like this can kind of give you the insight of how that was actually done. So it's kind of incredible, There's like a black, thicker line that maybe creates the original shape. You kind of see it over here too. And then he has like this feathering effect that just goes to town and figures all that out. Just really incredibly done. Man, I got to go back and see if this page right here was sold on Felix. That would be incredible. I wish Felix had the prices that these things went for on there. They don't do that. They just tell you if it's sold or not. And the other question I have, and let's see if anybody knows the answer to this, I wonder what the original size is for these pages. I initially thought that maybe they blew it up to this size, that he actually works in a little smaller of a format. I don't really have any evidence besides maybe the quality of the scan would kind of suggest that. Some of the lines look a little bit bigger or distorted, but that might have to do with just the quality of the scan itself. So I really don't have any evidence beyond that, but I'd love to know, do you guys remember what size he actually drew this at? Was it 11 by 17? Was it something different? I would love to know your guys' thoughts on that. Probably went through a whole pen doing this section over here with all the stairs and the lines and the blurs and the speed lines and all that stuff. Pretty crazy. I love stuff like this where you have entire panels full of just kinetic lines, but then you have this ricocheting kind of effect going through, and that's where all the lines are terminating. I wonder if he draws those in first just to kind of map out where he needs to stop these lines. He probably draws those first, right? And then he does all the speed lines to fill in the space. That's how I would imagine that's done, but it's really cool to see like that in action. Of course, this moment right here was pretty shocking and amazing when he pulls that axe off of his chest. Pretty cool stuff. So this is interesting right here. I don't really know what to make of this. We have kind of like a shadow hand going on right here. It's like evoking some kind of an action. So I gotta, like I said, I might pull out my original issues and see like what this looks like right here, but that's kind of a different thing that I haven't seen in any of the pages so far. And man, got that amazing silhouette, gnarly scene right there. Not to mention this like hulking, brooding looking demon of a bat shot out of my way. Very, very digital. Like you can obviously tell just from the clarity of the lettering on here. It's very much more computer generated, So that's why I'm immediately saying that these are just scans with the lettering overlaid on top of it. And it's also one of the reasons why I think this might be a smaller page and they kind of blow it up a little bit, just because everything seems to have a little bit of a blur to it. Not a lot, but just enough to make me think, man, I don't know if that's the original size or not. I didn't notice this before, but Alfred's rocking the KSG over here. Man, if you ever got your hands on one of those things are very impressive. So that's a cool touch. I didn't notice that before. We get some great like construction and architecture scenes over here. I can just imagine the ruler getting broken out, trying to figure all those angles and perspectives, things like that. Pretty cool stuff there. Then of course we get some more of the origin story, some of the tragedy in Bruce's, with his father and everything, going to the zoo and whatnot. And these are really cool letters over here too. You can even see he's trying to trim off some of it towards the bottom over here. You get to see a little bit of the whiteout being used, maybe some of the pencil marks too in there. I'd love to see the thumbnails for this as well, because that kind of helps plot out where dialogue goes. And so that'd be kind of neat to see exactly like how this is all planned out. I'm sure that they did that, and then they just matured the art as they went through. These panels over here look like nightmares to draw, like something like this, just all those different layers of buildings, and then the overall perspective shot kind of honing you in over there. And of course, it's like landscape shot of just all these cities and buildings and all this stuff. Like someone like me, this would be a nightmare to do. So I'm curious to know, like, for all the artists out there, are these pages that really energize you, or are these pages that just wear you out? Like, oh, that's the one page for the day, or it may take a day and a half to do something crazy like that. Yeah, just curious to know that. Cool, like reminiscent shots to like year one right here, where Bruce is kind of like walking through the streets. He's got like this hunched over shoulder kind of a thing going on. So it's a pretty cool little callback. Of course, we have something cool going on over here. Not entirely sure. I think this is his mom, right? This is Martha. So I think there's some kind of a paste up over here. Probably, yeah, her entire head was replaced. You could see it right over the collarbone to the shoulders, perhaps up and around. So totally different head being used in that panel right there, which is pretty cool. Again, you get to see this cool architecture over here with the fence posts and whatnot. That must have been nice and repetitive to kind of knock that stuff out. You get to see like the feathering in the hair. That's done really well. I really like that effect that he pulled off right there. Oh, you get to see that KSG aiming right at you over there. I can't believe I didn't pick that up before. That's really weird. And then again, you see that effect where basically we have our muzzle flash right here, but then you have all the speed lines meeting it. We got some automatopoeia going on, and just like great anatomy of the weapon and positioning and things like that. And you get to see the after effect of that confrontation there. And like, what a great moment this was when he's stealing the bike and he's going for it, just like blasting through the wall as he's recovering, and then just flying out into the night, man, just like a bat flying out of a cave. Incredible stuff as he's just peppered with little batarangs all over the place, just accomplished by some silhouettes and some hash marks. So yeah, pretty cool effect there. Very, very effective and dramatic and everything. And then of course you get this giant money shot 2-page spread right here, just bat in front of the moon with all the different hash marks, things like that. And you get to see all the little pencil marks, and you get to see some inking of the shattering of the wall or whatever the heck it might be, kind of closing out the issue in dramatic fashion. And of course, it's, you know, leading us to the conclusion of the issue. And if we get some real dramatic shots, this looks like the original scan right here. And yeah, what an incredible image that was. I don't remember what it went for. I'm sure it went for a lot of money. Man, I'm sure it went for a lot over on Felix. And we get a cool Nick Dragata second print original art scan right here too, with all those awesome buildings and the smoke and the hash marks and everything. This is incredible. We even get some zipatone in the chest plate right here after he pulls the axe off. So you get to see a little bit of that going on. And you just see like a bunch of whiteout markers and stuff like that used to create some lines and just kind of, you know, separate these buildings out in different ways and put the light cutting into it. Just really, really cool. Cool stuff going on there. So here's some of the layouts I was talking about before. So this is really interesting. So they do have dialogue boxes. Now I need to see if they actually align to what was actually printed, but there are these little thumbnails, and then they actually have where the bubbles will be. And maybe there's just some identifying things in here too, like this is this character and whatnot. I don't see it on all the pages, which is interesting, but you do get a sense of like where characters are going to lie, and obviously the empty space is where you're going to be telling the story and all the dialogue. But man, even like this kind of stuff is really awesome. Like that would be really cool. So I wonder if these layouts are done digitally or if they're done traditionally. That would be an interesting thing to know. And then whatever happened to those? Are they going around? I don't know. I haven't seen those for sale, but that would be really cool if they were. Yeah, and then you get some process art towards the back here, just different poses and styles and character design, things like that. The cape control with the hooks and just some, you know, definition of what all these different things are. Him gliding, hanging, impose, things like that. So pretty cool stuff right there, man. These editions are incredible. They're like $20. They're awesome. 11 by 17. The original art, and yeah, just you get all the raw goodness that you would normally get if you had the actual pages in front of you. It's the next best thing. So these editions are amazing. I really love these. Let me know if you guys picked these up. This is probably like the 5th one that I have, I would say. I know Image has a couple different ones out. I think some other folks have them out as well, but these are incredible. Let me know what you guys thought. Let me know if you picked it up. Did you pick up anything that I didn't? Let me know down below.